Hey guys, it's Robert, and I'm doing something a little different today. I'm doing something a bit out of schedule today. Um, I don't think I ever told you this in front of any of you before, but I really like deadmau5's music. deadmau5 is my favorite record producer, and today I'm going to be ranking his albums in a tier list. So this should be a lot of fun. I really like his music. I really listen to most of these albums, except for probably some. Yeah, and yeah, this should be fun. So let's start with 4 times 4 equals 12. You're getting B tier. Pretty solid album. 5 Years of Mouse. You're also getting B tier. And I forgot to tell you this, but this is just my opinion, and you can feel free to disagree with it. Um, if you like some or if you hate any of these albums, then I respect your opinion, but you have to respect mine. Um, so yeah, next up is the 7 EP S, freaking outstanding EP. A little oblique. Uh, no, not one of my favorites, but it has full bloom. It has full bloom in it. Um, at least it has full bloom in it. Full bloom in it from like Volume 3, and it has like Bitter Kitten from Volume 5. And speaking of that, we are now moving on to his deadmau5 Play discography, starting with deadmau5 Play in the USA Volume 1. See, um, this App Play compilation is probably it has like it has like some it has like a lot of tracks from the volumes 4 5, but the only new song on there at the time was All You Ever Want, and it wasn't even there until like volume 5, but it was on Apple and USA volume 1 first. Yeah, next up, deadmau5 at Play volume 2. Um, you're getting B. This is probably the App Play compilation I return to the most. Pretty outstanding compilation. deadmau5 at Play volume 3. No, this compilation isn't all that great. It's the Vexillology of it's the Vexillology of the deadmau5 albums. Just really long, boring, and tedious. Um, Stereo Fidelity, which is the second to last track on the compilation, is noisy for the sake of being noisy, which really kind of irritates me. But the only good thing about this song is that at least it's a good song to just headbang to. But yeah, and literally half of the compilation is from Vexillology, which is my least favorite album from him. And again, it's just my opinion. You can disagree with it if you want. I'll respect your opinion as long as you respect mine. Next up, deadmau5 at Play Volume 4. You are getting B. Pretty cool compilation. Um, at Play Volume 5. Getting C. There's really nothing too much I would say about this compilation. It's just remixes as well as some new songs. Um, and songs like Assorted are like songs that BSOD made. Probably Assorted was choplifted from BSOD. I really don't remember though. Excuse me. Next up, deadmau5 at Play, the first compilation. B. Well, actually, I'm switching places with Volume 4 in Volume 1. Well, no, well, never mind. I changed my mind. You're probably getting the lowest ranking in the B tier so far. Volume 4 probably has a lot going on than Volume 1, but Volume 1 is still a solid compilation. Really nice. Next up, the Halcyon 441 compilation, deadmau5 circa 1998 to 2002. You're getting A. This has got to be one of my favorite compilation albums ever from him. Really outstanding. And tracks like My Opinion made it onto Stuff I Used to Do, which isn't even that great compared to this album, but I'll get to that way later on in this video. But yeah, the Halcyon 441 compilation is really outstanding. Songs like Mental Image, Hiatus Fantasy, and of course My Opinion, from this compilation are some of my favorite tracks from the guy. And the Oshawa Connection from Get Scraped is on there, as well as Intel Stack, Word of Canada is on there, American Slushy from Project 56 is on there. Really awesome. Everything is Complicated. No. No. It's not one of my favorites. The tracks on this EP, Everything Before, Everything After, Complications, Secondary Complications, they're all not that great. Not that much progression, in my opinion. I'm sorry, it gets D. Next up, for lack of a better album title, getting B tier. No comments. I just like that compilation. Next up, for lack of a better name, frickin' classic. In my eyes, frickin' classic is all I gotta say. You're getting A tier. Get Scraped is next. You are getting the second highest in the B ranking. Really awesome. And it has like tracks like Intel Stat and Oshawa Connection, in which I already mentioned were on this compilation here. Word of Canada's on there, Careless, I Forget, 8-Bit, all 9 out of 10 material. Or 8 out of 10 material. Really solid albums. And the fact that this is his debut album, it's really outstanding. Here's the drop. Getting the 4th highest in the B ranking. It's better than the Where's the Drop compilation. I mean, Where's the Drop isn't all that bad, but Here's the Drop is probably better. As a matter of fact, I'm putting Where's the Drop in C tier. Yeah, you're probably getting the second highest in the C ranking. Yeah, Where's the Drop is not bad, but it's not one of my favorites I've ever heard from him. But Here's the Drop is probably better than Where's the Drop, regardless if they're all remixes of the songs from Where's the Drop. And if you don't know what Where's the Drop is, it's like an orchestral compilation. I mean, on paper, it's really clever, but if you execute that plan, it's not that good. Not bad by any stretch, but just a minor disappointment. It sounds like. Oh my god. No comment. Just a really good compilation. deadmau5 live at Earl's Court. A live album. Getting B. Really great. Oh, what is that? Test pilot. Eh. Um. Um. I really don't listen to Test Pilot all that much besides Sunspots. Um. Yeah, I really don't listen to deadmau5's Elias all that much besides like Sunspot. I thought Sunspot was like unreleased or something, but I found out that it was like released. And that's when I found out that deadmau5 is also known as Test Pilot. And I was kind of blown away. But other than that, I really don't listen to Test Pilot all that much. Now we're moving on to the Mouseville compilations. Or EPs, whatever. Um, I'm putting both Mouseville level complete and Mouseville level 1 in B tier. Mouseville level 3 goes on A tier, and level 2 goes on A tier as well. All 4 of these EPs are really, really solid. Really outstanding. Yeah, nothing else to say, just awesome. Melee Fresh or Melee Fresh versus deadmau5 at play. Well, no. You're gonna probably get the lowest ranking in the B tier. Melee Fresh isn't the best singer or rapper I've ever heard, but it's not bad either. Um, I listened to the Make That Sound mix of Sex Slave, which is probably the one track or so on this album that I return to the most on this album, probably. Alright, deadmau5, Meowington's Hacks live from Toronto. This is my favorite live album from him. Really great. The only bad thing I would say about this live album is that math sounds kind of weird on this live album. Like, really, really weird to me. Polar. Eh. It's not the best, Polar. Well, it's not the best, soundtrack album I've ever heard, but I mean, he was trying after all. I mean, it was a first for him, a soundtrack album. Even I haven't created this soundtrack album on SoundCloud. I've created studio albums, compilations, EPs, singles, but not soundtrack albums. Polar was a first for deadmau5, but it's not the best soundtrack I've ever heard. Project 56. Outstanding compilation. Really, really outstanding. Alright, random album title. This album is spectacular. Really awesome. It's the album that introduced me to deadmau5, and it's still an album that I listen to still to this day. I remember from this album, like, the song I remember from that album was the first deadmau5 song that I've ever listened to, and I was in the second or third grade at the time I was listening to it. But little did I know, I started getting addicted to his music when I started listening to Ghosts and stuff right after. And then by 2015, I've listened to a lot of his music, and I still do to this day. Just I just freaking love this album. Stuff I used to do. Uh, Not one of my favorite compilation albums. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is the test pilot one. I don't know what it says though, unless if I get a bigger version of it. But yeah, the test pilot album. You're probably getting the lowest ranking in the B tier. Again, I really don't listen to Test Pilot all that much. You know his Elias, but I listen to Sunspot and it's pretty damn experimental. Maybe if I listen to this album more, if I listen to that album more, maybe I'll put it in a different tier. For now, it's going in the lowest in the B tier. Um, Now deadmau5 the remixes. Um, no comments. I just really don't listen to that album all that much. That remix album all that much. Besides probably one or two. You know what? I'm putting the remixes deluxe in the same tier too. Um, yeah, not one of my favorites. Well, actually, I'm putting the remixes deluxe in B tier. Probably switching places with the test pilot album. Yeah, I really don't listen to it all that much, but maybe. But again, if I listen to it more, maybe it'll probably be in a different tier if I listen to it more. Next, the Velt EP. You're going right in between Get Scraped and 5 Years of Mouse. Really cool EP. Probably my least favorite track off there is probably Failbait. Um, Next up, what's that? Vexillology. Boring. That's all I gotta say. Boring. This is my least favorite album from him. And if this were to be your first deadmau5 album that you ever listened to, then this would be probably be a bad place to start in. It's it's straight average. It's not that great. I mean, I like some of its tracks, like 1981, Dr. Funkenstein or Funkenstein, Apply Overnight, Lie. Those are all pretty good tracks. But most of and Orca too. But yeah, it's it's just the average. Nothing else I gotta say. My least favorite track off of that album is probably Plus. Just just it doesn't have that much progression, and most of the tracks on that album really don't have a melody. And and if it doesn't have that much progression, it's like just tedious and boring. And again, if this were to be your first deadmau5 album that you've ever listened to, then this would be a bad place to start in, honestly. But you can disagree with that opinion all you want. Um, it's just my opinion. W Drive 2016 album. You're getting B. Well, actually, I'm changing my mind about Polar. After thinking about this, or this soundtrack album, I think I'll put it in B tier. It's still not the best soundtrack album I've ever heard, but thinking about it now and listening to some parts of this album, I mean, it has Nosedive in it. It's just good. But back to W Drive 2016 album. This is his latest studio album. Come on, deadmau5. We need another studio album from you. I haven't heard a studio album from you in like 4 freaking years. But anyways, this album's decent enough. Not the not the best deadmau5 album I've ever listened to so far, but it's decent. And the reason why I say it's not the best is because he kind of rushed it. I mean, it only has one disc and it has like 11 or 12 tracks or so. And my top 3 favorite tracks on this album are like Imaginary Friends, Welk Zen, and Fourware. They're all really good. And 2448 is probably my least favorite track off the album. I mean, 2448 has a nice build up, but then the drop kind of ruins everything about this song. But again, songs like 2448 are only good when you want to headbang to that song. But other than that, no, 2440 is not one of my favorites. But W Drive 2016 album is at least a solid album. Finally, well, one is less than two. The 7th album from him. I'm glad that we saved the best for last because you're going in S tier. Freaking S. This is my favorite deadmau5 album from him. Period. The fact that it's a double album, it's really damn amazing. It really is amazing how he made a double album back in 2014. And and some of its songs I remixed, like Avaritia. Yeah, I just really love this album, and he experimented with a lot of genres too. And and some of my favorite tracks are like I said, Avaritia, Gula, A Moment to Myself, and probably many others on this album. And 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 you know what's really more amazing? You know what's even more amazing? All tracks from the 7th EP made it onto this album. And probably out of like probably like out of out of like seven out of all tracks from the 7th EP, only like 2 out of 7, they were fleshed out. Most notably, let's go down that track by track from the 7th EP, and I'll explain how it made it onto Wild 1 is Less Than 2. So Acedia was one of 2 tracks that got further fleshed out. Avaritia obviously didn't make it, like Avaritia, the piano piece, didn't make it onto the album in the same name, but instead got integrated into Terrors in My Head, which is one of my favorite songs ever from the guy in general. And then Gula is and then Gula is the sec is one of 2 songs that got further fleshed out, and it's even more and out of Acedia and Gula is probably the one that's better fleshed out. And then Nvidia, it remained unchanged. Nothing much to it. Ira, it also remained unchanged. But perhaps it was descended by 1 semitone, I guess. But yeah, unchanged. Luxuria Luxuria was used twice on this album. Luxuria's first appearance on that album was on Coelacanth 1. Wait, no, it was on somewhere up here, and then Luxuria got used again in Coelacanth 2, and then Superbia again. It remained unchanged. I'm gonna see if I forgot any tracks from 70p. Um, I'm gonna see if I forgot any tracks from the 70p. Um, come on. Alright. I'm gonna see if I forgot any tracks from the 70p. No, I didn't. But yeah, yeah. And again, Wild One is Less Than 2, my favorite album from the guy ever. Really freaking awesome album. And yeah, that's the tier list. And oh my god, I'm so triggered that album title Goes Here isn't on this tier list. But if that album were here, I'd probably place it in A tier. But yeah, that's that's the tier list, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. And again, this is really a different video. It's probably out of the ordinary from my usual stuff that I post on YouTube, but yeah. And again, this is just my opinion. You can feel free to disagree with it, in the words of the Walking Ankle. But yeah. That's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in another video. Bye!